Nancy Pelosi saying she will probably send articles of impeachment to the Senate soon as she awaits potential trial rules. But Mitch McConnell says he has the votes to clear the president. Is this yet another display of hyperpartisanship that's gripping Washington, D.C.? And if so, it begs the question, is this what our founding fathers intended when they created the Constitution? Here to discuss, Trump 20 senior legal advisor Jenna Ellis, along with Democratic strategist Kevin Walling. You two normally play well together, so I think this is the perfect guest to have on this topic. First, before we get into what the framers intended, Jenna, from your vantage point, Nancy Pelosi has held this up. It looks like she's starting to cave in. I mean, she's getting pressure from her own party. So where does it go from here?
Yeah, well, she should absolutely fulfill her obligation to transfer these articles to the Senate to allow them to carry out their constitutional duty, which is sole power to try all impeachments. And so for Nancy Pelosi to hold this up and say, I'm going to wait and see if I agree with the rules, if I like them, she's trying to manipulate her own powers and overstep the margins of the House's constitutional authority. So when the Democrats are always saying we're trying to uphold the Constitution, they really have no meaning or substance behind that, because what they're doing is trying to manipulate the rule of law to their advantage rather than realizing that their sole power exists under the Constitution and they simply have to carry out what it says to the letter.
You know, Kevin, Dianne Feinstein, Senator Feinstein, saying the longer this goes on, the less urgent it becomes. So if it's serious and urgent, then send over them. Why does she send them over? I mean, this is Dianne Feinstein, a big leader in the party. I mean, is it time?
And also a Californian with Speaker Pelosi. You know, to Jenna's point, I don't think the Speaker's trying to manipulate the rules. She's just trying to figure out what the rules are. The American people deserve to see what Mitch McConnell has cooked up with his caucus in terms of how this impeachment hearing is going to play out. And before she sends over House members to make that case to the American people and to the Senate, she wants to know what the ground rules everyone is playing from. I don't think it's an unreasonable request to see what the rules are before she sends over the articles of impeachment. And the American people want to see those witnesses. 60% of Republicans even want to see John Bolton testify and Mick Mulvaney testify.
And so Hunter once we get this, and Adam Schiff, yeah, I know, but the point is, though, is that even Democrats seem to understand that if there was a sense of urgency, she can't control the rules of the Senate. She pushed, she tried. Now let's move on with it. I want to ask you, too, because there's an article I saw, and I'm asking some of these guests, some of my favorite Republican and Democrat guests, America, have we become the framers' nightmare, Jenna? And when I say that, apparently they're saying George Washington, in his farewell address, warned against hyperpartisanship. John Adams talked about the division of the Republican to two great parties. He said it's dreaded as the great political evil, Jenna. I mean, it feels like we're there. It feels like there's nothing either party can agree on. Nothing. If it's raining, someone's going to say it's not.
Right. And, it's an interesting day when I agree with The Atlantic, but I do in this instance because the founders, let's remember, they all unanimously agreed on the Declaration of Independence, which recognizes that our rights are pre-political, come from God, our creator, not our government, because we're all human beings made in the image of God. And so they recognize that the sole purpose of government is to preserve and protect those unalienable rights. So then they just argued, how does that best be enacted in civil society? And so they came from the same place of understanding the role of government in civil society. We have in America gone so far past that now there's allegiances to fractions, to parties, and to other political interests and power over and above that central mandate. And so when it becomes party over country, that becomes a problem. And that's why President Trump has clearly said he wants to work with Democrats. He wants to have country over party because he loves and wants to protect and preserve the rights for all Americans. And I think we need to get back to that.
Kevin?
Yeah, Charles, Jenna and I can go at each other as we do on your show, and I love it. But at the end of the day, we do need to remember that we're Americans first. And I adore Jenna. We disagree on mostly everything.
You think that that's gone in D.C.? I mean,
I don't think so.
We kill the top terrorists and most well-funded, successful terrorists in the world, and there's not even agreement that was a good thing.
Yeah, I struggle with that, of course, and unifying behind the president when he does actions like that. I was with the Vice President, Joe Biden, last night, who on speeches is still talking about wanting to unify this country, wanting to work with Republicans. In his stump speech before donors, he talks all the time about working with Republicans across the aisle.
I think we all want it, guys. Jenna, Kevin, we got to leave it there. We always appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charles.
Folks, we have another